Good morning, witches. What's up? Hey, oh, there's so many of you here. Hold on, let me mute myself. What's up, Linda? Good morning. You're drinking Dunkin' Donuts coffee with organic Dutch cocoa and heavy cream. Decadent. Moon and sun signs in Gemini, rising in pieces. Is what that says. Rising in Pisces. Hi, everybody. Yeah, your coffee does sound delicious, right? Water from Maruta. Morning, Maruta. Morning, stop picking your nose. Morning, Nuri. Thank you for being here. Shout out to Nuri, who is the moderator of this live, guys. Good morning to Lovely. Morning, Betty. Morning, JB. Hi, Lauren. We are blessed with your presence. Hi, Ginger Snap. Business is beautiful. Stop picking your nose. I'm so excited about everything happening at the shop. Thanks for asking, because obviously it's my obsession right now. And things are going great. It's really growing. The shop witches that have come on board literally, like, only if I handpicked them myself could I have done a better job, and even then, I may not have. I am so grateful that the universe took the lead and brought me the right people, because I've literally been sent the perfect people to start HQ, to grow HQ, to kind of be the core of like the witchy conglomerate there. So I'm delighted, and it's great. We're starting to have foot traffic like on a regular basis, which is amazing, because those of you who have been here for this process know for the last year and change, it's been a lot of me sitting in there online trying to figure out how to get people to come in and actually come to the shop. And now we're kind of to the point where we have like regular foot traffic. People are stopping in. They're not calling ahead of time. They feel confident to just come by. They understand how the shop works and where it's located. And like the word is starting to spread that we're there. The sign outside helps immensely. So I just have to thank you guys once again so much from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much. Your super thanks and super chats on our last live videos have helped us to get a new sign, or just a sign for outside that actually sits on the street. You know, one of those simple triangle signs or whatever, but it makes a huge difference. We had a sign up on the wall that was on the outside of the building, and you can see it. It's the same size as all the other. Sorry, that's the heater. The same size as all the other signs on the outside of the building. But if you weren't looking at the wall of the building, then you wouldn't see it. So now we have this A-frame sign that is outside, and people keep coming in being like, oh, I saw your sign outside. You guys have tarot decks here, or you do readings here? And like, that's been helping so much. So thank you guys so much for that. Thank you guys so much for the cash drawer. I took some video, but like, it's not a very pretty thing, but I think I'm going to post it anyway. But I want to say thank you guys so much. Your super chats on our last live video helped us a cash drawer, an actual register for the shop, which is amazing. I've been making it work with like a little box that I had, a little cash box that I had. But to have other people work there and stuff like that, you really, I feel like as a business owner, have to give them the proper tools to get their job done. You know, it doesn't have to be the easiest, but like just not ridiculous. And like my little cash situation was kind of ridiculous. So having an actual drawer now is huge. And shout out to Madeline. Thank you, Madeline. Madeline stopped by and gifted us the locking cash bag that I wanted to help making drops to the bank and stuff like that more secure, and all of that good stuff. And we're in a very safe spot, and our building is super safe. And it's amazing being on the inside, because you have to go through like a level of security to even get to us. So it's a very safe place. But again, having people in my space, it's my responsibility to make sure that things away and that they're safe, and you know, all that good stuff. So having a locking cash drawer, having a locking cash bag, these are and really important things. So thank you guys so much because you made it happen. I appreciate you. Along those lines, today, if any of the messages resonate with you, we are raising money for a light box device holder for the shop. I'll let you know real quick what that's all about. It is basically a compact box that includes lighting and device holding like apparatus or what have you. But the reason why we need this in the shop is because every single time one of the shop witches teaches a class, we get all of this feedback. Why can't this class be online? We wish this class was online. I live across the country. I want to take one of the classes at your shop. Can they be online? And I've been talking to the shop witches, and we all agree that our purpose, our primary focus is on uplifting this community, the South Bronx, bringing books, bringing classes, bringing community to this space. But we also want to make sure that we're accessible in every way. And even people who live right in the city, whether it be for mobility reasons or chronic illness reasons or what have you, are not able to physically get to the shop. So we really want to try to bring in an online component of the shop and make the classes that the teachers are teaching there available to everybody. And if you've ever been in the shop, then you know that it's all like kind of moody lighting. The lights in there are not very bright, and that works for our ambiance, but it doesn't work for filming. I also want to make it easier for the shop witches to film themselves while they're working their shifts, whether they're dressing candles or cleansing the tarot decks that have come in or whatever it is that they're working on. They want to put that content on the page, and I want them to as well, but we don't really have a way to make that easy for people to do. So, I found this like light box holding thing that's pretty reasonable. It's $70, and it's something that can live at the shop and that all of the witches can use. It's easy to use, and it will allow us to record a lot more things and put a lot more stuff online. So, that is what we are raising money for. So if you guys want to support the business, if you want to support the HQ shop, that is how you can do that today. And if you're looking for other ways to support, then I encourage you to go to the website, bronxwitch.com, and click on the ways to support page. You can get merch, you can donate supplies, you can volunteer for things. So tons of stuff for you to do to help if you'd like. So thank you for asking. Thank you. Stop picking your nose. I appreciate that. Thank you, guys. It's going really well. I really hope all of you get a chance to come and visit, or at least check us out online and see what we're all about, because I really feel like we're doing something different, and we're maybe not necessarily changing. There's nothing like wrong with witchy shops the way that they are, but I think we're doing something a little bit different, making a place that people can actually go to hang out, to work, if they're readers and have clients, to learn and take classes and like find friendship and find community with other witches in like an urban environment. So yes, I want you all to know about it. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Mika. Lauren, you got your first tarot deck. Yes. Congrats. And for your question, Lauren, that is the best type of thing to book a consultation with me for, because we can talk all about that. Consultations with me are free at the moment, available through the shop. So just go to the shop page, bronxwitch.com, and book a reading, and you'll see the consultations there. You can do it in person or an over the phone, and you can ask me anything you want for 15 minutes. So, yay! Thank you, guys. So welcome, welcome, welcome. If you just came into the building, this is the full moon in Virgo live Zodiac tarot readings. We come together every full moon and every new moon to pull cards in anticipation of this moon phase, to get a better idea of what each of us could be doing to best utilize that energy, to our benefits, or just to be aware of it. And I'm not an astrologer. So this is not an astrology reading, but we will talk a little bit about astrology because the reading is kind of based around something astrological, but also because it ends up showing up in the reading 9 times out of 10 anyway. So we may as well talk about it kind of initially so that it, all makes sense. Good morning. Hey, Star. Hi, Betty. Hi, Tom. Hi, Lauren. Yeah, we are sitting in if I've got my dates right, sometimes I'm off, but if I've got my dates right, we are sitting in the heart of the new moon or the full moon right now, which went full in the sign of Virgo this morning here on the East Coast at 7:40 a.m. You'll definitely still be able to see it tonight if it is clear skies where you are. And it is the full worm moon in Virgo. And the moons have names in different cultures. And the full worm moon, my understanding, gets its name from, as you would imagine, earthworms becoming visible right now at this time of year, though we are having a freaky warm winter here in New York. So every time it's rained, I've seen earthworms all winter long. But typically they start to emerge now. Precipitation stops coming down as snow, starts coming down as rain, and earthworms like to come out to the surface to drink the water and unfortunately make themselves tasty snacks for the birds. Tarot of the Cat People. Ooh, cool. Thank you, DeLovely. Yes, thank you very, very much. You know what that is going towards. I'm excited. You'll probably be able to tell when we get it because all of a sudden there'll be a whole bunch more content on the BronxWitch HQ Instagram page that you can actually see because it's not so dark. All of our content is dark. You can't see it there. I mean, in person you can see fine. It's just on the stupid phone. But, yeah. So let's see. So Virgo full moon. First off, can anyone tell me what my full moon ritual is? As I said, I think last time, I do not ask you guys this because what I do matters at all, nor do I want you to do what I do. I ask because I strongly, strongly believe that picking some simple rituals that you can do on a regular basis that align with the seasons or with nature in some way, whether it's lined up with the sun, whether it's lined up with the moon, whether it's lined up with maybe you live by a body of water and it's lined up with the tides or the way the water flows or what have you. But if you pick some simple rituals that you can line up with something that happens on a regular basis, this is one of the best ways I feel to really embody being a witch. So funny, I picked up the Anatomy of a Witch Oracle today. Now I know why. This deck is all about embodying that identity, embodying the lifestyle, embodying the energy of what it means to be a witch on a regular basis. It going beyond reading or listening or learning about the material and actually doing it. Spells are fantastic, but they can be very intimidating. They can be difficult to kind of get into a groove with or start to see some success with, and they can breed a lot of doubt, I think, when they don't work out. So I usually don't recommend that people start out with trying to cast spells as their way of like entering into the world of witchcraft or that identity. I think rituals are a lot more effective and regular rituals are effective. So I have rituals that I do every full moon and every new moon in order to ground me in what is happening in the natural world. And it just so happens that because I feel tied to the moon, I've decided to kind of mark those lunar cycles by having a new moon and a full moon ritual. For you, it might be really different, but ritual of some kind that is tied to the natural world, honoring the Sabbats, whatever it may be. It doesn't, the Sabbats happen 8 times a year. It doesn't have to be something that's every month or twice a month like mine. It can be something that's less frequent, but that's a great way to start really implementing living a pagan life or living life as a witch. The worms are going crazy in your garden. Plant things during full moons. Oh, that's so interesting. Actually planting on the full moon, that's so interesting because the new moon is more associated with like planting seeds. So that's cool that the full moon is a seed planting time for you. Okay, so Nisi got it right. My full moon ritual is my spiritual bath. Every full moon, I make sure to take a bath, and sometimes it is super, super simple. Sometimes it is just spring water and some salt and maybe a little oil or something like that. But it is something that I make sure to do regularly to keep myself aligned with what is happening with the moon, because I have noticed, and I don't do this just to do it, I do it because I have noticed that when I do that, things work better for me. When I take the time to acknowledge the sign that the moon is in during the full moon, and I draw that down into my bath water and then bathe with that, I feel like I am better able to connect with that zodiac sign that the moon is in and embody that energy, to make use of it. Are you guys seeing the chat on the screen, by the way? I'm not seeing the words on the screen. I see them in real time, but I don't see them on the stream. Does that make sense? Thank you so much, Betty. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's going to be so awesome to be able to offer these things online. No, right? It just says comments will display here. What's up with that? I'm afraid to refresh because what if it, do you think it'll kick me out? You see the chat below the screen, right? Not on the screen. Let me see if I do. No, the image shifts me. No, I know, right? Lawrence, it's just like, nah. There's no reason for it. Oh no, now I'm in full screen. Okay. Yeah, but I don't know what will happen if I refresh, Lauren. I don't know if it will like just disconnect and then you can't start the same live again. You have to start a new one, which is like, I don't want to do that. Thank you, Jeanette. Oh, I love that little emoji. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to do, guys. It's not there. Should I try refreshing? I'm scared. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it because I don't want it to end things. But yes, Lauren, I'm sorry, or Star, I'm sorry to hear that you are having that struggle, but we're here for you whenever you are ready. And yes, we have Palo Santo. And if coming to the physical shop is difficult, you can definitely order online. We do ship. And we also have pickup. So if you want to place your order online and schedule pickup so you can come and grab it but not have to stay too long, you can do that too. Yeah, right? Okay. I stream music a lot and it will restart your whole jam. Okay, wait, okay, DeLovely. You are saying that if okay, wait. Oh, no, you're saying you wouldn't refresh. It will restart your whole jam. Okay, good. I'm glad I read that comment before. Okay. Okay. All right. I'm not going to refresh. It is what it is. Sorry, guys. There's just a random blank screen next to me for no reason. Oh, wait. Maybe if I'll just turn it off then. Okay. I'll just turn it off. No more chat overlay. we'll just deal with that, and hopefully everybody can see the chat below, because I don't think I set it to replay, but we'll do our best. Wait, what was that? I just went by too fast. Thank you, Linda. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. May everything you give to me come back to you 3 times 3. So what it be? Thank you. Yes, there's a pickup option. When you pick each item, scroll down to the bottom of the description and you'll see that you get to select pickup or shipping for your order. And you have to do the same for, the whole order. It has to be either pickup or shipping. But it'll let you pick on the item itself. For whatever reason, it's not on the checkout screen. You think they would put it on the checkout screen, but it's when you open up the item and read the description at the bottom of the description, that's when you decide what type of ordering you're doing. So, yes, Star, lots of positive vibes. I can imagine that is difficult to go through, but that's also one of the reasons why I've kind of shifted how I feel about making online offerings available to you guys, because like I said, my heart, my purpose, my focus, my calling is to bring HQ to the South Bronx and let the witches of the South Bronx know that we are here, that they do not have to travel an hour into Manhattan or Brooklyn to find events, to find community, that there is a shop out there where they can actually spend time and grow and all of that good stuff. But there are people right here in our community who cannot get to us. And they would like to, and they would like to participate at least in classes and things like that. So by contributing, whether you give a super chat today or a super thanks on this video, or you support the shop in some other way, which you can find out on the ways to support page, it's going to make a huge difference to be able to offer what we're doing in the shop online and to share more of it online for everybody, far and wide. So I thank you in advance. And if you're just coming in, we are getting ready to start the full moon in Virgo readings. It is the full worm moon. It's the last full moon of the winter officially. And if you've been sort of tracking things astrologically, then you may know that this full moon in Virgo marks the end of a 6-month cycle that started with the new moon in Virgo in August. So we'll talk a little bit about, or a lot about, how this full moon in Virgo affects you specifically based on your zodiac sign. But another thing that you can do to ask yourself, how does this full moon in Virgo apply to me, is to ask yourself, what were you going through, or what were you starting in August of last year? What cycles in your life were beginning? What were you being critical of or analyzing or starting new? It was the new moon. So what seeds were you planting? What intentions were you setting? What goals were you giving yourself in August of 2022? Because that is what has run its 6-month cycle now that we're at the full moon in Virgo 2023. So in addition to the message that you received today about your sign, you can also ask yourself, what was going on in my life? What seeds was I planting then? So that you can understand how this full moon in Virgo might be specifically affecting your life and what area of your life. Okay, so that's how we work with that information. And Maruta says, I want to let you know I was approached by an Instagram imposter. In case you didn't know, there was one. Maruta, you have to answer this genuinely for me, because I really need to know. Do you for real think that I don't know that there are Instagram imposters? I need to know this, because I am really trying to gauge what it is that people know or don't know about the whole Instagram imposter thing. It's from where I sit on the internet, it is so rampant. It is so everywhere. It is so obvious when a fake page follows me or comments on something or what have you. And it is so easy for me to find out if it's not obvious by simply searching the page name in Instagram to see if other similar pages pop up. That it's really hard for me to process that some people out there either don't know that this is going on or don't know how to recognize an imposter page when they're approached. Because to me, it seems like it's like the air we breathe at this point. It's so everywhere and everyone knows that it's happening. But I'm still hearing from people that like, oh, I just got followed by you. Nope, that's not me. You messaged me for a reading, or oh, I was talking to you the other day. So I'm still getting people interacting with fake pages and legitimately thinking that it might be me. And I'm trying to gauge like how it's possible that it seems like it's everywhere and everybody knows about it, but I'm still encountering people that seem to be just finding out about this issue. So, anywho, that's a genuine question. I'm wondering, like from the pages that you follow, Maruta, am I the only imposter page that's ever approached you, or is that the first time this person approaching you is the first time that you've ever heard of the Instagram imposter thing, or have you not seen the things that I have posted about imposters? Because I wondered that too. Because I can't post about them all the time. It's draining. But I have put up a couple of posts. Now that I cleaned up my Instagram, they're like mostly gone, but there's like a little bit of info in my highlights and like some info in my bio. So maybe I should post some more. But I'm wondering, like, have you guys ever seen my posts about scammers? Have you ever, were you notified of them? Just do you know? Who knows? Does everybody know that this is going on? You had somebody selling OnlyFans content? Of you? For you or of you? Okay, Maruta, you asked them about my last stream and they had no clue. You didn't see anything on my page. Yeah. I don't know what to do about this, guys. I really don't. I think the only thing that I can do at this point is make my Instagram page private. I've been thinking about this for a little bit. Ever since I deleted all the stuff on the page, I almost did it then. But yeah, I just might make it private because it's just too irritating. It's just too tiring, the whole situation. I saw Matt and other people have put a a blurb in the bottom of all of their captions. Not that people read the captions, but they are putting blurbs at the bottom of their captions because we put it in our bios and you guys don't check people's bios, so nobody sees it in the bio, and then the scammer just repeats the bio. I don't know. Yeah, I just I feel what you're saying, Valentonia. Too, it's like, where's the line of like self responsibility? How is it like to what extent is it my responsibility as the page person to make sure that everybody who follows me knows that it's the real me? Like I feel like I do everything that is reasonably expected of me and then some. Guys, number one thing that you can do to help yourselves, first and foremost, get off of social media. Oh, Laurenberg, I meant to email you. Oh my God, thank you so much for that reading. The astrology reading for the business, it was incredible. It was fantastic. It was so insightful. I put our business birth chart in the shop manual because I was like, everyone who works here needs to know like who we are at our core. It was amazing. I'm going to email you with more details. I just wanted to say thank you. But anywho, I feel like Like, the number one thing that you guys can do for yourselves to protect yourself, if you want to buy something from a provider, a spiritual provider of any kind online, go to their websites, okay? Go to our websites. Thankfully, we are not at the point yet where scammers have started to create complete websites, you know, and hope may we never get there. But go to our websites. Every single person on the surface of the earth who is on Instagram that sells anything. Like, when some of you guys comment or DM me talking about how do I buy this or that, I'm just like, I'm so confused. Link in bio. Is this new information? If you are on Instagram and you want to know what someone does, where they sell it, how to find them, you go to the link in their bio. That's what it's there for. And then you go to their actual website. This is how we buy things in a way that is reasonable and responsible. I think that a lot of you, some of you, are of a younger generation than I. So you come from a world where everything happens online and you don't even ask like a lot of questions. I don't come from that world. Putting my credit card number in on the internet, buying things on my phone, buying something on a platform like Instagram, paying somebody for a service through DMs. These things are weird to me. I'm just old enough that these things are weird to me. So I don't do that. I don't do that. All right. I had someone who wanted to do legitimate business with me, and for all intents and purposes, they may be a perfectly legitimate business, but they couldn't refer me to a website to make a purchase. I had to Zelle or Cash App them money. The answer was no. I don't care how legitimate you are. I absolutely don't give a damn. I'm not paying you through a social media platform. If you don't have a secure website with a payment processor in place, then I'm not paying you. I'm not giving you my personal my personal information. I don't know why you guys aren't taking those basic precautions. Some of you. Obviously, those of you who are not getting scammed are. But why so many folks are not doing that? And to me, it seems like it maybe has to be a generational thing, where maybe it's two, actually, because my cousin got scammed and he's like 50 years old. I think probably what it is you have folks that are maybe very young and very used to the internet world and very used to buying things on social media and stuff like that, and not necessarily thinking like, how secure is this payment? How reputable is this purchase that I'm about to make, this vendor, etc. And then I think you have, unfortunately, older folks who are not very savvy, don't know how to spot a scam page, are gonna believe somebody when they come into their DMs talking about, I care about you, or I connect with you, or, you know, can you help me out, or things like that. So I think it's like, it's hard for people in my generation, because for us it seems so obvious. You know, it's like, duh, these are scam pages, because we get this young generation of like scam internet life. Like, we get that people do that type of stuff, but we're old enough that we take precautions to like protect our money and our identity, so we don't jump into making purchases. And I feel like the two groups that flank me, the younger folk and the older folk, are both like just super susceptible to this. And like, you guys gotta get with it. Get with it. Young folks, you gotta stop being so willy-nilly with everything and thinking that everything on the internet is your friend and is the truth. And older folks, you've gotta start getting a little bit wiser about how to use the internet. There are ways to protect yourselves against these things. One of them is getting a little bit more savvy with going to people's websites and using that to like back yourselves up. Okay? Scams have evolved since emo time. Yeah, we've had scammers since day one. Okay, so at some point, it is on each of us to take some precautions and apply some critical thought, which is very relevant for the moon being in Virgo. Apply some analytics, apply some critical thought, and really ask yourself, like, what is the likelihood that this person with 20,000 followers and a full-time job has decided to sit down and reach out to me for a reading today? You know, like, we've got to apply some critical thinking with these things, because it's totally fair that this situation that the content creators did not create is now suddenly our responsibility to police and correct and fix for folks. And I can't post on a regular basis to make sure that every single person sees that there are scam pages out there. And I can't tell you every time a new one is created, because every time one goes away, another one is created. There's probably, I'm not bad. Thankfully, some people are just being absolutely bombarded. I would say I probably have like 3 or 4 going at any given time. Okay, so to be clear, I have one personal page at BronxWitch. I have one shop page at BronxWitch HQ. That is all. That is all. And the BronxWitch page was recently cleaned. I deleted all of my 1,000+ old posts so I could start fresh and make that page a space for me to just enjoy myself. But all of the IGTVs, back when IGTV was a thing, all of the lives that I ever did on there are all there. And I left my first post on there, which is dated back 2019. Okay, so those are 2 ways that you can verify that page is me. You can also use the Instagram About feature now. So if you go into the top buttons of any page and click on About, it will tell you how old the page is and how many times it's changed names. And that can help give you a really good idea of whether or not you have a legit page. My page has never been changed in terms of name. Only one name since 2019. Only one page. So it's the best I can do. Yeah, I have heard of the scammers getting really aggressive in the comments and DMs, doing more than just being like, oh, Grand Rising beloved, I have a message for you. They're starting to get real cray. Report and block, it's the best that you can do. One of my girlfriends went so far as to have a back and forth and get the person to give them their Cash App or their PayPal or whatever, and then went to Cash App or PayPal about it. If you want to do that, you have my blessing, but I do not need to be contacted about impersonator pages. Unfortunately, sadly, hopelessly, yes, I do know that they are there. Someone I know online, Madre Agua Grecia, some of you might know her, was talking about witches coming together to actually hex the scammers and do something about this. And I think that's a good idea. I don't have the time or energy to organize it, I'll be honest, so I'm hoping that she does it. But I am on board if she does. But yes, they have an underscore after the name. I think that's the most recent one. BronxWitch underscore, I think I've had a hard time getting rid of. That one stuck around for the longest. BronxWitch 10 underscore BronxWitch underscore. And I'm going to say this, and I hope you guys take this the right way. But if you are following somebody that's got a good handful of followers and they don't follow a ton of pages back, if you follow them and they immediately follow you back, it is probably not them. It is probably not them. Okay? It doesn't mean that you're not special. It doesn't mean they don't want to have a real connection with you. It's just that the more followers that a page has, the longer it takes for us to get through friend requests, follow things, comment, all of that stuff. So even when I do follow somebody back, it's almost never immediately because I don't notice immediately, So if you follow BronxWitch and then 2 minutes later BronxWitch follows you back, I can see if it's BronxWitch underscore, because it probably is. They stalk our pages, they see who follows us, and as soon as you follow us, then they go follow you and message you. Okay. It's not that we don't want to follow you, it's just that it's just not likely that we're going to. Yeah, posting pics of minors is a big no-no. Okay? So anywho, that was a huge tangent, but I do think it's important, so thank you for bringing it up, Maruta. I want all of you guys to be safe. But yes, I am aware. Unfortunately, there is not much I can do about it. Instagram appears to be releasing some subscription feature now so that people can pay Instagram to protect them from imposters I'm probably not going to be doing that, honestly. So it seems to me the only real solution would be for me to make my page private and probably like kick a bunch of folks that have like questionable names and pages off and go private, and then I have to actually review if I let you in, which will take forever. But you know what I'm saying? I'm all about creating safe spaces, so if that's what I have to do, that's what I'll do. Okay? Alrighty. Welcome to the new folks who have joined the room. This is the full moon live Zodiac tarot readings for this full worm moon, which is happening right now in Virgo. Okay. We talked about the full moon a little bit already, but just to dive deeper now that we're going to start getting into pulling some cards. And to remind you guys that if any of these messages resonate with you, so please leave a super chat. If you're watching in live time, if you're watching this on a replay, you can leave a super thanks. You can scan the QR code at the top of the screen to leave a donation, or if you want to support the HQ shop and buy, osmosis me, you can go to bronxwitch.com and click on the ways to support page. Yes, welcome, Khaled. We are raising money today, if you do in fact leave a super chat or contribute in some way, to getting a light and device holder for the shop so that we can start making online content and start sharing with you guys more of what's going on in the shop, in particular the classes that we are offering. We are making our classes online in some capacity is a big goal of mine for 2023, and having the proper lighting and recording device that's literally the first step in actually making that happen. So I want to thank you in advance for that. We talk about astrology because that always shows up in the cards, and the idea is to take the messages that you receive and apply them to your life and allow this full moon in Virgo to really show up in your life in a positive way. Use it to your benefit and not let it trip you up or catch you off guard. So the full moon is a time that we often talk about as being a time to do many things, but in a lot of ways, it is the completion of a cycle. We've seen the moon be born again as the new moon and grow into its full expression now as a full moon. So completing cycles is a theme that runs through every full moon. But what cycle are we talking about? When it comes to this full moon in Virgo, we're talking about the Virgo cycle that started at the new moon in Virgo in August of 2022. So here we are 6 months later, and we're asking ourselves, what did we start? What seeds did we plant? What did we begin in August of 2022 that is now coming to full fruition? And what do we do about that? Virgo energy asks us to criticize, to critique, to analyze, to reorganize, right? So when we start a project, the first 6 months usually is a super steep learning curve. You learn a lot about yourself, you learn a lot about the process, what you're doing, your vision might become clearer, etc. How you were doing things on day one, maybe worked on day one, but don't work now 6 months later and need to be readjusted. So the 6 month mark is a good time to check in with things that you began 6 months ago and just restructure, retighten up, reevaluate those things for the next 6 months. Dump out anything that you realize isn't working, bring on things that are new, and start just tidying up what you've already begun and tightening up what you've already begun. It's a good time to reevaluate and criticize, but what's the word? Constructively criticize. Ugh. Yeah. That's rough because it's annoying that the scam stuff is happening so badly off of Instagram. Like, I don't know what the world is coming to with this, I have to tell you, because like when you're getting emails from your bank talking about here are ways to prevent yourself from scams, it's like, oh, this is just a big issue. What are you guys doing? What are we doing? You know, we need legislation, but I don't want them to just like make tarot reading illegal. Okay, so completing cycles is a big theme for this full moon in Virgo. The full moon for me is also a time of activation. I do personally think it's a good time to cast spells, depending on what the spell is. Though I feel like we put a lot of effort on the spell casting, and I spoke earlier about how I think ritual is a much better way to actually really solidify yourself as a witch and make that a part of your everyday life. Spell casting is something that happens when it comes up and is needed, but ritual is a regular grounding, a regular dedication of yourself to your craft, to your pagan lifestyle, to your practice, whatever it may be for you. But I do feel like the full moon is a good time for activation. So if there is a spell that you've been thinking about casting, this energy might be great for you, especially with it being in Virgo. That might be particularly helpful in terms of really crafting your spell well, being really organized about how you go about executing things and analyzing the situation so that you really sort of stack your energies as best you can. And then gratitude is another thing that I think about a lot at the full moon, because the seeds that you planted at the new moon, if in fact, even if they aren't like showing above the surface, have faith that they are growing. So I would say express gratitude even if you aren't seeing the rewards just yet. But definitely, if you are seeing the rewards of what you planted 6 months ago, if you're seeing what you started 6 months ago starting to sprout and take root and starting to reward, definitely make sure that you take the time to express gratitude to whatever energies feels appropriate for what is growing. If you called on a spirit in particular, if you called on a saint, if you called on your ancestors, if you called on someone to help you with something with this seed, and you realize now that things are really coming to be, make sure you say thank you and honor and give thanks to the energy that may have assisted you with what has come to be. Yeah, it's important to remember that. I have to remind myself that too. Obviously, HQ gives me a lot of pause and reason to do that. But when we plant those seeds, the hardest part, I would say, is the time right after. I would say that part is maybe even harder than actually keeping the plant alive once it's above ground, because that part is totally unseen. And completely with faith, you have to keep watering, keep giving sun, keep checking on things, keep nourishing, and continue to work on that area as if the seed had already planted. And that can be hard to do because you can't really see that that's really happening. So that's the hard time. So even if you haven't seen the seeds you planted 6 months ago start to sprout, express gratitude, because they're under the ground, they're growing roots, they're doing their thing, and you just can't see them yet. But let's not lose faith and forget that the process is happening, and we should still say thank you, just like as if they were already above ground. So if you're looking for ways to honor the full moon and bring it into your life, those are 3 things that you might want to consider. Full moon in Virgo is a great time, is a time of completed cycles. So doing some work in regard to tidying up things that you started 6 months ago, expressing gratitude, and using the energy to activate your spell work or your other intentions are all things that you can do at this full moon. Okay. Yeah, that's the astrology side, and we'll get into the cards. And I kept feeling like I pulled this deck out. I want to see who remembers this deck. I pulled this deck out because I do feel like this is a very good moon for casting, for ritual, etc. Do you guys remember this deck? The words, I can hardly see it. The Words as Wands deck. Remember? That has spells and rituals in it. Woman of Rivers, Lauren, I forget her last name, but her name is Lauren. She's Woman of Rivers on Instagram. Who remembers this deck? So this deck was really cool. It's a very different type of tarot deck because it basically gives you kind of an array of types of rituals and spells that an individual might cast, kind of based on the numerology and the energy of the card. So if you are not sure what type of spell or ritual you might want to conduct, but you feel like you would like to do one, or you have a situation and you're not sure how to address it, it kind of gives you that. So there are no pictures, it's just words. But there are little spells and rituals that give you elements to work with, energies to work with, and like basic instructions for spells and rituals and stuff. So I thought I would maybe pull from that for all of us, in addition to an oracle card, to give us an idea of how we might want to actually work with this energy, and see if there is a message that we can glean from spirit about that. And then we'll pull tarot cards. Mahogany Tarot. We're looking all over the internet for this deck. I think you have to get it directly from her, and I don't know that she always has them in stock. But she's on Instagram as Woman of Rivers, I believe. She hasn't changed it. That's Joe, everybody. Any real estate agents in the New York area need exceptional photography for your listings? Merlin Brand. Look them up, okay? All right. So yeah, so I think I'm going to pull us 2 cards for the collective. I'm going to pull an oracle card from the Anatomy of a Witch Oracle, which we got like a couple months ago. Anatomy of a Witch Oracle. Okay, this is the Oracle deck by Laura Tempest Zackroff. Bye, have a good day. Beautiful deck of cards that we are still getting to know. So I'll probably pull the book out on that one. And then I'm going to pull us a Words as Wands card as well to give us like a collective ritual. Okay? And then we'll get into all 12 of the Zodiac signs. Okay. I'm going to top off my coffee. Okay. Oh my God, also I have news, guys! Okay. Guess what? Guess what? The mugs are here. The mugs are here. I got a message this morning. I haven't had a chance to like get into it, but the mugs are here. The mugs were signed for at customs. They're cleared. They're here. Okay, they have touched down on the beautiful soil of the USA, and they are on the way. They should arrive this week. If you are interested in the high tea mug, you can now enjoy one. We have olive green high teas, and we have purples that say roasted toast for my coffee witches. I didn't want to leave you guys out. So we have a high tea, and we have a roast and toast. And I think it's kind of cool that I might be the only one out there with the purple high tea, because it kind of makes me like, you know, cup and leader. Like she has the like one different one. But you can do high tea in the olive green, and you can do roast and toast in the purple. Okay. So if you want this mug that has now become kind of synonymous with our teas and tarots and our high teas, you can now get them what I decided to do was to make them available for pre-order for Coven members only. Yes, Linda, I got your order, babe. Okay, so no offense to everybody else. I love you all equally. However, my Coven members are my special witches, and this is kind of a Coven thing because high tea technically is a Coven thing. So I wanted to make sure that because I couldn't get a ton, I didn't want them to run out and then Coven members be like, I didn't get one. So Coven members, if you haven't already, check the YouTube community tab or the Facebook group. I dropped the link to pre-order in both of those spaces so you can place your orders. Once the mugs arrive at HQ, the pre-order is going to go away and I'm going to make it available to everybody. So, ASAPly, go ahead and place your pre-order so that you can lock yours in, and then whatever is left is what I'm going to put up on the site for everyone else to buy. So if you're not a Coven member, you're still going to be able to get access to it. You just might want to move quickly because there might not be that many left in the color or style that you want, but they will be going up on the site shortly. Coven members, grab yours now so you don't have to worry about that. And you can also use your Coven discount on the pre-order, which is awesome because you're going to get it for super, super cheap. Once it goes up on the site, it's going to go up in price. I made a special Coven price for you guys. Okay, so check it out. Yes, they're on the way. They're here. I'm so excited. And I got more crystal tea infusers. Some of you have been asking when those were coming back. I wanted to switch my vendor to a different crystal supplier, so that had to happen. So that happened, and crystal tea infusers are on the way too. Okay, so I'll let you guys know when that happens. But anywho, I digress. Let's get back to this. You know when you try to ignore spirit and it just won't stop saying something in your head and you're like, I'm trying to do other things. Hey, what can you do? Anyway, when you're obedient, things work well. So when they speak, listen. This deck was like, I need to be fed. Okay. Make it like one. Okay. All right, so I'm going to start with the words as one. We're going to make some of my sea moss gel when I move. Girl, I don't sell sea moss anymore. It might be coming back, but I don't sell anymore. You still have some? You haven't used it yet? I mean, it don't expire, but girl, come on. You'll wait till June. Begin your journey today. Okay, so I'm going to start with the words as wands. The message from Spirit for a ritual here, this is very interesting because when I was like thinking about the moon in Virgo, and I think I was like online looking up some stuff, I kind of briefly glanced over something about like dream work at this time. And how that can be something that can be really activated with the full moon in Virgo because of that analytical aspect of Virgo, being able to sort of analyze our dreams and understand them. This is a good time to, be open to your dreams because you might be able to kind of glean messages from them a little easier than other times, etc. And what we have here is working with spirit. The number 7 in particular may be of significance. You might want to work with the number 7. And I'll give you the instructions. Well, I'll give you the incantation. You don't have to, verbatim say this, but the incantation is, I call upon angels humbly to protect my family, friends, and me from any unaligned, negative, or toxic energy as we rest peacefully. Okay? I call upon angels humbly to protect my family, friends, and me from any unaligned, negative, or toxic energy as we rest peacefully. So the card says, when we are vibrating high, showing up for ourselves and others in service of spirit, negative energies will try to bring us down to their level when we are most vulnerable. Unaligned, stagnant, meddling, or malicious energy will be kept away and at bay by saying this spell before bed to ensure that you and your loved ones have restorative sleep. Okay, so I'll say it again. I don't know if Mariah is here. Mariah, back in the day when we used to pull from this deck like every time, Mariah was our royal note keeper for everyone who keeps notes on the readings. And she would drop it down in the comments. So if anyone caught that and can drop it in the chat, I greatly appreciate it. No part you can. But I'll say it again. I call upon angels humbly to protect my family, friends, and me from any unaligned, negative, or toxic energy as we rest peacefully. Okay. So dream work, calling on spirits for peaceful rest, for protective rest, for protection and peace in your dreams is a ritual that you might want to work with. You might also want to call in particular spirits for assistance with this or for anything else that you are working on. Okay. And then we have play. We love this deck because it's so pretty. We have a fox, a hare, and a snake, and a house on legs. So let's see what that is all about. Okay. Play. This card belongs to the body being, if you are following along with the deck for the embodiment of the witch. And it says, what does Baba Yaga's chicken-footed hut do while the witch is away? Oh, is that what this is? Does anybody here know Slavic magic? Or the story of Baba Yaga? So this is Baba Yaga's chicken-footed house. Look at that. Play, of course. Here the chicken house is off for a joyful romp with Coyote, Hare, and the serpent. Consider, Life can't be all about work. We need to let our imagination run free and shake out our limbs from time to time. Move, jump, dance, and flail about. Play isn't just for the body, it's for the mind as well. Allow for some fantasy, suspended disbelief on occasion, and let yourself fly. Go ahead and engage in a little make-believe. When we allow ourselves to play, our mind relaxes and our views shift, allowing for greater problem-solving capabilities. Worry less about what others think and resolve to play more. Dance like no one is watching. Be ridiculous and full of wonder. Make some myths and memories now. Okay, here's the message with these two together. Okay, dream work is key. Dream work is key, okay? And this is for the collective. So this is telling me that this is something that would benefit absolutely all of us, all right? Rituals revolving around heightening or activating your dream state and allowing yourself to really let go and let your imagination run wild is going to be super helpful. This full moon in Virgo, activating the end of a cycle and completing a cycle, it's like one thing is going to bed, literally, right? We're putting one thing to bed, putting ourselves to bed, dreaming of something new, and then being able to restart when the next new moon comes up. But we're riding at the peak of the full moon first, so that means there needs to be some like clarity of vision about what exactly needs to be done away with, what needs to be tightened up, what needs to be buttoned up about whatever cycle it is that we are completing. And the answers to that are going to reside in our dreams and in our dream state. So for those of you who are able to meditate really deeply and to sink down like completely into like alpha state and stuff like that when you meditate, then you can do this through meditation. But for everybody else, you or theta even, you would want to go to sleep for this. Okay, so rituals at night, rituals right before bed that are designed to increase your your dream work. I understand why sage and rosemary wanted to come up over here right now in this bundle. Burning things like sage and rosemary before bed would be a good idea. I like burning them together. That's why I make my sage and rosemary bundles together typically. Cedar and rosemary, sage and rosemary are usually my combos because the sage helps to clear away any malignant, stagnant, unaligned energy, while the rosemary helps me to remember and to activate my mental state and help me to remember my dreams. So I would recommend something like that. If you can get your hands on sage and rosemary very easily. Both of them will be at your local grocery store. If you don't have time to dry them out, that is okay. Take a piece of parchment paper, put them in the oven. If you have a gas oven, just leave it on. If you have an electric oven, just leave it like off the pilot light. Will be hot enough. If you have an oven, put it on the very, very, very lowest setting and keep an eye on it. And within a few hours, half a day, you can dehydrate your herbs enough that you'll be able to burn them. If you have a dehydrator, even better, it'll be faster. Okay, but you can literally run out to the store right now, get yourself some sage and rosemary and make a little bundle for yourself, or sprinkle a little over some charcoal once it's dried out. Make it into a tea, even if burning herbs is not something that you can do. Maybe you live somewhere where you can't burn herbs. Steep some sage and rosemary and drink it. Put in a little honey for taste and drink it. But sage and rosemary are definitely coming through as wanting to assist with this because the combination happens to be really a wonderful combination for exactly what this ritual of working with spirit is. Clearing out stagnant energy and opening ourselves up mentally to receive positive messages and to remember them and to use them, okay? And letting our imaginations just completely run wild and see what unfolds. And the good thing I think about the Virgo energy being here to support us through this is if your dreams are wild, prayerfully, this Virgo energy will help you to be able to analyze and criticize them in a way that lets you understand them. So they're not just wild and confusing, they're wild and helpful. Earl Grey and lemon balm, that sounds like a great combo. Welcome, Jen. rose, patchouli, and cardamom before bed. That sounds fabulous. That would have me dreaming about some pound chicken. I think, personally, that's what I think. All right. So that is the collective message, guys. Play is the oracle message. And the rituals that we should be doing should revolve around releasing stagnant, unaligned energy before going to bed and calling in our dreams, calling on spirits that will help us with our dreams or who can communicate to us in our dreams to help us tidy up whatever it is that we have manifested over the last 6 months so that we can move either on to the new thing or continue this thing now into the next chapter. So let's see which of those it is for each of us. Are we ending a cycle to end it? Are we just ending a chapter? Starting with Aries, as usual. Remember, if these messages resonate with you, you can say thank you with a super chat or a super thanks. Okay, Aries, my question for you was, is it the ending of a chapter or the ending of the book? And we have justice in the reverse here, interesting to me, because oftentimes when I pull Aries, I tend to automatically think of my best friend who is an Aries who is incarcerated. So for the justice card to come up in the reverse, it's very interesting. I might want to give him a call or like a letter because I can't call. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, because the very first thing that came through with this is that there may be some literal legal issues that you are dealing with, Aries, that are coming to a close right now. And this very much feels like the close of a book, with it being the Justice card, the Major Arcana card. If you had some type of legal issue come up last year around August, or something in the legal realms that you began. I remember last time, I think somebody's kid was in law school. So this could be a positive legal thing. Our interactions with the legal system does not always have to be bad. But that is the area where this ending of a cycle is drawing to a close. And it feels like for you, it's really more of an ending of a book rather than an ending of a chapter. This feels very final. It feels like decisions have been made. So you're either going to be receiving some decisions about things of a legal nature in this moon phase, or this would be a time to wrap up the loose ends related to that situation. Okay, so if you have anything unaddressed, and maybe we're putting off or reconsidering, should I go get this paperwork? Should I get this certification? Should I deal with this pending ticket or whatever the case may be? I would definitely say now is the time to go ahead and wrap any of that up so that it doesn't move with you into the next phase. The energy is right for you to really put that to bed and have a decision be made. So, there are many Aries out here. So for some of you, a decision may be being made that impacts you. For others of you, a decision of some type of justice situation will need to be made. But we're definitely putting things to bed completely, and we're not moving forward with this situation. So if you have any questions about whether or not now is the time to end that, I would say now is the time to wrap that up and end it up. Yeah, Lauren, exactly. A ticket that's been haunting you, closing up in a good way. Yeah, I'm glad it's closing up in a good way. And you're an Aries. Hi, Irene. Welcome. Happy full moon. Welcome. All right, Aries. We are closing a book on a legally impactful situation. Taurus. Taurus, also a big ending. Okay, Taurus, we have the Sun in reverse for you. Okay, so whatever it is that you have been going through for these last 6 months, it is deeply, deeply transformative. Deeply, deeply transformative. It very much feels like a whole new birth, a whole new you has come to be in these last 6 months, and you're really ready to put certain things to bed, but in a very positive way. There's like no hang-ups about this. There's no like concern. Their Aries card had a little bit of, who knows what the legal decision, what the ending is going to be. We just know that that's coming to an end. This definitely doesn't have any of those types of feelings. This is very much like the things that you are putting to bed, you are doing so willingly, you're doing so voluntarily. You have matured in a significant way, it feels like, and so you're ready to really step forward with clarity about who you are. This feels very you related. This is not really about outside manifestations or things going on in your life in a physical sense. This is very much more of a personal journey type of a situation. So there's been a big level up for you, Taurus, since August of last year, this 6 months phase of growth and going through things. There may have been some like hard lessons along the way, or having to really like go back into your past and think a lot about childhood trauma or childhood experiences. So it wasn't an easy journey, but it does feel like that is now coming to an end, and you're able to lay parts of yourself, your parts of your former self, to rest, and let go. So it's a very like deep, almost kind of fluffy type of a thing that you're going through, but it's important for your self-development. So that's the ending energy for you. It's a very positive type of an ending. So congratulations, because you did the work to get there. Congratulations, Taurus. Gemini. Wow, there's a lot of like big energy happening here. I wonder if it's just maybe just a full moon. Gemini, we have the High Priestess. Okay, and again, I asked, are we closing a chapter? Are we closing a book? And this is definitely like, this actually doesn't feel very closing at all. This is very like opening for you, Gemini. This full moon in Virgo for you is very watery, very intuitive, very introspective and feminine. For you, this feels more like having the psychic downloads and intuitive hits kind of happening at the same time. Yeah, Gemini, if you are not journaling your dreams, please start doing that today. Please start doing that today. You are getting a combination of psychic information and intuitive hits in your dream state that is coming from a very open part of yourself. Like, you are already very deeply in touch with your divine feminine aspect, like regardless of how you gender identify as a person, you are very in touch with your divine feminine aspect as it already is. But it's like, this part of you is popping right now. There is so much energy. It wants to talk. It wants to advise. It wants to guide. It might actually come forward in the form of an actual spirit. You might see a feminine spirit or female spirit in your dreams, a character in your dreams that feels like a divine type of an energy. If you are like clairvoyant, you actually see these beings. You might see these beings kind of with your internal eye. But your dream state is going to be on and pop in for this full moon period. I would find a way to document as much of it as you possibly can. Okay, as much as you possibly can. It doesn't have to be something you do forever. I would just try to make sure to do it for the next 14 days or whatever during this phase, because literally the moon is just sitting on your head. And messages about how you can organize yourself, how you can get more structured, how you can get the support that you need for the projects and things that you're working on. All of that is going to be coming through your dream. So you literally need to sit there and take notes. Okay? Take notes. Yeah, I understand. Journaling is not like second nature to everybody, for sure. But it is very helpful. I mean, there's like no way to deny it. So if it helps to not feel like it's something that you need to do forever, that you just want to do while the moon is full for these, 3 days, or if it's something you want to do for like just this new phase, just to take you through to the next full moon, or even just to the new moon in 2 weeks, I would do that, because this is an opportunity for you to really unlock some information. And yeah, voice recording is a great idea too. Lauren Berg mentioned you can get creative. Your journaling doesn't need to be some big fancy journal or whatever. I have like a little spiral notebook. And if you sleep with your phone by your bed, yeah, voice recording or notes, talk to text, all of those are great ideas. Answer. And don't forget, guys, if these messages resonate with you, I very much appreciate super chats or super thanks to help us to get the equipment that we need to make the classes that we are offering at the shop available online. Answer. Answer. Okay, we are definitely ending a chapter for sure. Okay, Cancer. So we have the Three of Swords here, a very definitive card of endings. Absolutely. Not the easiest of endings. So for many of us, this full moon in Virgo being a cycle that began at the new moon in Virgo in August, this may be a loss or an ending of a relationship that started back then. So you may have already planted the seed for the ending back then. You might have started thinking about it. There may have been a precipitating event, perhaps infidelity or some type of an incident that occurred back then that sort of started the wheel on the ending of this relationship. And now it feels like we have reached the point where, yes, in fact, this vehicle is drawing to an end. And this is very much something that you're sitting in, that you're currently experiencing. It's a loss. I feel like for some of us, it may also be a loss of a pet. I don't know why that just came through, but I just felt like small pet, small animal feelings. So some of us may be mourning literal loss, like death, the death of loved ones, or fur babies, or things like that. Children even. I hate to say, but the losses that we have experienced are rearing their heads here at this time. So they're either really fresh and happening, or the beginning of the end started with this new moon in Virgo, and now it's finally coming to be. And this is definitely the end of a book. So if there is any question, or if a part of you is really struggling with letting go and releasing, that's what you want to focus on right now. The full moon is also a great time for release. I didn't really even talk about that. We talked about the full moon being great for activating, for the ends of cycles and things like that, but specifically, it is a great time to release and let go of things that we are clinging on to. So you might be holding on to a relationship that is done and trying to make it last and make it, revive it or what have you, but the energy around that just really isn't in alignment. It's just really not compatible with that, and letting that go would be the best thing that you can do for yourself. Using this full Virgo energy to help you let go would be fantastic. Some type of a cleansing ritual, like I say, full moons for me are a bath time. All this rain in the background is like, witch, collect your bath water, collect your storm water, get your spring water, and give yourself a good spiritual bath. Let go of this pain, because I really do feel like the seed for it was planted 6 months ago. So it's not new. It still hurts, but it's not really new. And I think you're tired of holding on to it. So this is going to be a massive release. And Virgo is great energy because it will look you right in the face and say, this is where you're fucking up at. So draw down the moon, draw in this energy of the full moon in Virgo, and let it help you to be critical of you. Sometimes we have to do that, criticize ourselves, look in the mirror and say, this is you. And this feels like this is you still trying to hang on to something that is definitely at its end. So wash it away, release it, let it go. Thank you, Ginger Snap. Happy full moon in Virgo to you. And that was the Three of Swords. So your 3-3 is so accurate and appropriate. Thank you. Okay, Cancer, you heard that? Okay. Put that to the side. We have Leo next. Leos. Sun, moon, or rising Leos. Ending the chapter. Okay, Leo. Leo. Okay. I'm a Leo, so it's hard to get personally excited when I see a message that I want to see or something. But yes. Oh yeah, Laurenberg, drawing rather than writing, that helps too. Sometimes what's in your head is just a picture or a color. My dream notes are crazy. Sometimes they're just like blue spaghetti. Did I smell oranges? Whatever you can get. Okay, Leo, mighty Leo, you are definitely ending a chapter this full moon in Virgo. We have the 9 of Cups in reverse. Okay, we are ending a chapter here for sure. It feels like we're just moving into a new phase, a new stage in a state that we are in, but what's shifting is not necessarily where we are, but how we're doing it. Okay, so it feels like we're kind of staying where we are. We're staying in the same place. We might be living with family, living with roommates, working in a collective with a lot of other people, and we're not in a position necessarily to move or do anything right now. And that's whatever, that's neither here nor there. This is more of a question of how do you adjust yourself within that space to maybe make it a little bit more comfortable for you, because it isn't terribly comfortable. So there are some adjustments that maybe need to be made, and there's maybe something missing. The 9 is a sign, is a number of completion. But for me, what's funny about 9 is, on the one hand, it feels complete because it's okay, we can come back to 10. And 10 is really 1, right? So 9 is our last whole number or whatever it is. But 9 also feels a little incomplete to me. It's kind of funny that it is the number of completion, because we count to 10 and we see 10 everywhere in nature, right? 10 toes and 10 fingers and, all of these 10-sided crystals and things. And so the number 10 even though we know it's the beginning, also does feel complete. So 9 can feel a little bit lacking. But if you think you're lacking, here's the Ace of Cups. Here's that missing cup that you need, and that is overflowing. So despite the fact that there's a lot of discomfort where you are right now, the thing that you feel like is missing from this equation, or like is the one thing that you would need to make things better for yourself, it's either arriving literally at this very moment. You already have it and already have received it, or this full moon is going to be a source where you can tap into whatever it is that you need to feel more complete in this space. Because it doesn't feel like you can move out of it or make any progress in terms of like changing it at the moment. So the best that you can do is figure out how to be more comfortable where you are. And this is what you need. Whatever it is that you feel that you need to be more comfortable, you have access to it. The question is, what is it and how do you do that? For each of you, that'll be different. What is that one thing that you feel like you need in order to make things more comfortable where you are? So this might be decluttering, getting rid of a lot of things, reorganizing your space. It might mean setting up like some rules about who goes where, when, or shifting your sleep schedule so that it isn't disturbed by what other people are doing or what have you. But allowing yourself to shift your perspective rather than trying so hard to change what's going on around you is going to be a way better way to usher in everything that's coming to you. Okay, so this full moon would be a great time to just analyze everything top to bottom and let go. Clean up, declutter, minimize, simplify, get everything in your space as comfortable as you possibly can. Okay, because you're ending a chapter right now. This isn't about closing the whole book, whether you want it to or not. That's just not what the energy is. We're moving into like a new chapter for the moment. And in order to do that, we just need to like make things more comfortable for ourselves because we're not out of the book, right? So like we still have time in this situation or time in this scenario, and it's not very comfortable right now. So this full moon is something that you should use to help you to figure out how to make that more comfortable so that you can move into this next chapter smoother, you know? Because that's like frustrating. It's like you want the book to be ended. You're done. You want the book to be ended. But now is really not the right time for that. The best you can do is move into the next chapter of being. And this full moon would definitely help you to do that. So call it in. Call it in, call it in. Okay, Virgo. This is your full moon, Virgo. What cycle are you completing, Virgo? Hey, Virgo. One of my favorite cards, because I modeled for this card for the Key Tarot. Oh my God, Ali, BronxWitch Pop Quiz. What card am I talking about? What card am I talking about? Your Virgo moon, Irene? Oh, I know. This is for the Virgos, Sun, Moon, and Rising. But who can tell me? I modeled for the Key Tarot. I am in a tarot deck. To this day, still one of the greatest things I've ever done. And I am a card. What card am I? In the Key Tarot. Let's see who's really been around. And then you should all get the Key Tarot because it's beautiful, and you should use the code ALLY5. You get 5% off. Is it ALLY10? I think it's ALLY5. Nope, not the Empress. Scarlet, one of the creators of the deck, is the Empress. Scarlet Ravenswood. She's on YouTube. Nuri guesses the Queen of Pentacles. Thanks, babe. But no. I'll give you a hint that it's a major arcana card. Okay, so that will narrow us down. You can picture it, but can't remember. The Aes Lele, I think is how you say that, says the Magician. Nope, another one I'd be honored to be, but no. Not the Empress, or the Magician, or the Queen of Pentacles. I'll take a couple more. Nisi got it. Nisi said the world. Yes! Do I have the Key Tarot with me? I think it's at the shop. You guys, come on. You guys don't remember that I'm the world card? I'm holding these really two cool selenite wands that I have. And there's like all this beautiful purple green background that Jamie Gold, the designer, like illustrated. Good job, Nisi. Yes, the world. Hey. The world. Okay, Virgo. So, are we completing a chapter? Are we completing a book? We are definitely completing a book with you, Virgo. I would say that probably, feels in alignment with the moon being full in your sign right now. We've completed a 6-month cycle from the new moon in Virgo. So if you planted some seeds or intentions at that time, by now, knowing you, Virgo, shit is popping off. Knowing you, shit is popping off, okay? Because Virgo energy tends to be very meticulous, methodical, very analytical, and very organized. And so when there are goals that need to be met, there's, a dedication to getting them done. Where Virgo can get a little bit caught up is in the analytical aspect of it, being maybe a little overly critical, overly analytical, analysis paralysis, they call it, when you are so busy thinking about how you're going to do something that you never actually end up getting started. That can happen to Virgo quite a bit. But if you took it seriously, Virgo, and you planted that seed and you said, I'm not going to do that this time, I am going to go, I'm not going to analyze, I'm just going to jump, then at this point you are definitely seeing those things pay off, and you are getting all the indications that you need to keep moving forward and to keep going. Be mindful of that part of yourself and use it to your benefit. Right now, with the moon being full in Virgo, that would actually be a good time to analyze, okay? You sometimes have a tendency to do it all the time, okay? And that's not the best thing to do. So if you were able to put that to the side for a second and jump in, bye, Nuri, see you later, and jump in, then you're seeing some of that payoff, and you just have to keep reminding yourself, not to get stuck there. Have dedicated times where you're going to analyze where you are and what you're doing, and let that just be, okay? So now is a time to revisit, to analyze, to look back over these past 6 months. Congratulate yourself for being able to actually take action and get something started, and go ahead and apply your usual analytical skills to see if there are any holes, any mistakes, any things that you could be doing better, so that this next book that you go into is bright. And it does really feel like a fresh start for you. So you are wrapping up whatever it was that you were working on. You're ending it up. And this is just a reminder to end strong and end completely. Your future is very bright. So go ahead and wrap up what else you were working on in a very final way, so that you can fully turn your views onto your next book. This is not a new chapter. This is a new book. This is a whole new something that you started planting the seeds for 6 months ago. And so now you're able to really fully step forward into that give everything one last look over and let it go. Okay, Virgo. Legs up, hands out. Sorry, I'm going to die. Yes. Thank you, Jeanette. I'm glad that resonated. And I love when the restream describes the character instead of putting it there. It says pair character lifting some weights, saying keep it up. Yes, if the messages resonate with you today, you can leave a super chat in this video. If you're watching this on replay, you can do a super thanks. You can scan the QR code at the top of the screen or go to bronxwitch.com and click on ways to support. We are raising funds for the equipment that we need in order to turn the classes that we currently teach at the Tea Shop into online offering. And I thank you in advance. Let me see if I can give you we just finished Virgo, so this is a perfect time for like an update. Let me see something. Hold on. Okay, yay, it does say. Okay, so 33.59, guys. Yes, thank you. 33.59, guys, so far. So in case you were wondering how we are doing in terms of getting close to our $69 goal to get the lighting equipment for recording our shop content for you guys, that's the progress, and I thank you. That was perfect, right on Virgo to analyze. Check in, see where we're at. That's how you do that, okay? Seeds that you planted at the beginning, go back and you see, how are we doing? Libra. Libra. My Libra bestie just texted me, actually. I wonder if she's in the line. She should get in the line. Get a message. Libra. Chapter. Libra, we are also closing a book. You are a Libra Sun and Rising. I'm a Libra Moon and Rising, and my Venus is in Libra. Yes. And I learned from that amazing astrology reading that Lauren Berg gifted me that the business also has 3 placements in Libra. So, big Libra energy. And Libra for you, we are closing up. Okay. Some big shifts happening for us, Libra, with the moon coming up in the reverse. I love seeing the moon card in reverse personally, because for me, this is how spirit tells me that the dawn is on its way and we are about to have some clarity come through. The association that I always see, I used to bartend in the city here in New York, if you don't know where I am. And I would typically be coming home at 5 o'clock in the morning, right around there. And there's a particular blue of the sky when the sun has not yet actually started to shine up over anything, but it is rising. and the birds start to chirp. You know how when the birds start to chirp and it's still sort of dark out, but you can see that the sky isn't black anymore, it's blue, and you know that it is super, super early morning. That time of day was always such a peaceful and comforting and comfortable time of day for me. I'm a night owl naturally, but then bartending late at night, coming home with all the drunks and the homeless and the shadiness of New York City in the middle of the night, and sometimes having cash in your pocket, and maybe having drinking and not have like your wits about you, which is not recommended. Like there are a lot of dangers lurking. And when I would get out of the train, or even if I would get out of my bar and it was already that time of day, and there was that little bit of blueness, it was like, okay, it's not nighttime anymore. And it just felt a little bit safer. And it was only a matter of like an hour difference or 30-minute difference. But all of a sudden, it just felt a little bit safer being outside. It was like, it is now morning. The tomfoolery and the fuckery of the evening are done. Everyone I see now is on their way to work. So there was a big shift in the energy. That's what's happening for you, Libra. It's a shift in the energy going from the darkness of the night and the scariness of the night into that twilight of morning where it's like, okay, phew, we just turned a corner. And it's interesting because this is the last full moon of the winter season. And that's exactly what we're also doing. It's what we're doing astrologically, but it's also what we're doing energetically in terms of nature. We are ending the winter. We're coming out of the dark period, the cold period, the uncertain period, and we're coming into the spring. And the spring holds a lot of promise, doesn't necessarily hold all of the certainty of being smack in the middle of the summer surrounded by your abundant cornfields, but it does give you hope that the worst has passed. So it feels like you are closing a whole book in your life, and you're stepping out of a part of your life that might have been really doubtful, really full of doubt, really unclear, really dark, a little scary. And we're stepping into something new that is definitely very uncertain, but at least brings in that sense of relief. Okay, so what you would benefit from the most would be to let go as best you can of what you have just come through. All right, because it's going to be, you might be carrying trauma, memories, bad habits that you picked up, etc., and this is saying, look, we want to step fully into this new book, so we might have to let go of some things that are still kind of nipping at our heels. But otherwise, the dawn is approaching. The new day is approaching. You can breathe a little bit easier now because we're done with that. That cycle has ended. And what you might benefit from is perhaps just some introspection, some shadow work, even looking at maybe your role in what you just went through and how perhaps you could have avoided it, or just how to perhaps not experience something similar in the future. Scorpio. What is the message for Scorpio for this month? Closing chapter. Hi, Ephemeral. Scorpio. All right, Scorpio, we are definitely closing a chapter, okay? We have a 9 of Wands in reverse. I don't know if you guys have noticed the proliferation. Is that a proliferation? Lots of 9s, 3s, other numerological indications of ends of cycles. The astrology always shows up in the cards, so this is why we talk about it. Here we are again with another 9, this time the 9 of Wands in reverse. So we're closing a chapter, Scorpio. We're closing a chapter that feels very related to okay, this feels maybe super specific, but if you have had some type of a creative pursuit that you have been really working on that was also supposed to make you money, you might be putting that to rest now, or you might be ending a period in school, because this feels like somehow both creative but also corporate is the energy that I feel. So I think the only thing that like kind of falls into both categories would be school, because in school you are being told to do what you like, pursue what you want, learn new things, explore, expand, but you're also doing it with the purpose of like making money from the things you learn and having a career and a profession afterwards. So this feels very much academic. So there might be a lot of student Scorpios tuning into this message, Sun, Moon, or Rising. So you might have been in school, in a period of school, and that's coming to an end. And that's why it's the end of a chapter as opposed to the end of a book, because there might be more schooling that needs to go on. You're moving on to the next grade, moving on to the next university, et cetera, et cetera. And that's what's coming to a close for you. So we want to just end this as strongly as possible. The actual close, if you are in school, might not be happening until, May, June, or whenever it is that school ends or what have you. So you just want to make sure that you end that off strong, because it feels like you're very tired and exhausted and ready for this to be done. Don't do what I did. I had a tendency to do this. High school, college, law school, all the time. I would get to the end of the semester and I would start to slack off. That's where I would start to slack off, because I would, first of all, I'd be tired. I'd be burnt out. I'd be already thinking about the next break or what have you, second of all. And third, by that point in this semester, I usually could tell how hard I needed to work to make it through a certain class, and if it wasn't that hard, then it's like I wasn't. So I have a tendency to run out of steam when I get to the end of something. So Scorpio, this is saying don't do that. Try not to run out of steam. You're in the last leg of whatever it is you were working on. So we just want to try to finish as strong as possible, despite the fact that we feel tired and beat up by what we have been through. But we are putting a successful close to this chapter, and we want to finish strong, recuperate, and get ready for the next one. We might not have a lot of time in between, so you want to keep that in mind. And then if you're not in school, then this might relate to like your creative passions, pursuits, or even your career. But something that you've been putting a lot of energy and effort into has now reached an end of a chapter. It's not the end of the book. So if you're worried about that, and let's say you've been working on some type of a project, maybe trying to start a small business or turn your hobby into a career or something like that, and things have, given you some success, but maybe not all that you had hoped for, or maybe it's taken a lot more out of you to get to the level of success that you're at, and that's kind of daunting because it's like, man, do I have the energy to keep going? It is not the end of the book, so I encourage you not to give up. It is the end of a chapter, though, so I do also encourage you to get your rest, tidy things up, and take a pause as best you can, and ready yourself for the next chapter. All right, Scorpio. And express gratitude. For you, Scorpio, that's a big one. Express gratitude because you are abundant. The things that you have been working on, the seed that you planted previously, has really sprung forward. It's just exhausted the hell out of you to get there. But make sure to say thank you, because what you asked for, you received. And what you have now, you didn't have even 6 months ago. So it's important to say thank you to the energies that you were calling on. Wow, thank you, Sabrina. I'm really glad. Really glad. Sagittarius. Sagittarius. Okay, Sagittarius. We have the world in reverse for you, and the very first thing that came up was travel. So for some of you, your travel may have been hindered recently. You may have had travel plans that you had to put on the back burner, or you may be entering into a phase where you can't travel as much as you would like, or you might need to take a little bit of a pause. Or you might actually be pausing your pause on travel. Because I feel like this feels like this is energy that's about to turn. This is the ending of a book for you. This is the ending of a book for you, Sagittarius. Sagittarius, I don't think you've gotten to really spread your wings as much as you would have liked certainly in the last 6 months, but maybe more like in the last few years, because it feels more significant. You feel like you've been kind of stuck in place or tied in a particular place. Now, we did have a pandemic, so that was true for a lot of people, but I think it probably hit you a little bit more because you like to be able to get out and go and move, and you were restricted for a very long time. You may have had some self-imposed restrictions, like financially, maybe not wanting to spend too much money or feeling like you needed to save or be conservative and things like that. And so you're starting to close that book of your life where you are limiting yourself, you're restricting yourself, you're keeping yourself from seeing the world, from getting out there. And now you're ready to start a new book and move into what you truly love, which is to be out and about, to be going, to be coming, to be zipping around, to be traveling, not being home a lot, living out of a suitcase. All of those things are actually kind of appealing to you, and you haven't been able to do that. So the things that were keeping you still, keeping you from exploring that part of yourself, really letting that part of yourself fully express, that's coming to an end for whatever reason in your life. So whether maybe resources have become available now and you can consider traveling again, maybe the circumstances around you, you're no longer tied to certain people or positions that you were previously in. For each of you, it will be different. But whatever it is that was holding you in place, it's like that is now coming to an end. So if you want to really take full advantage of the full moon in Virgo, Sagittarius, I would use this time to make a game plan or even a vision board of what the next book of your life is going to look like. What does travel and exploration look like for you? How often do you get to travel? Under what circumstances? What what does it look like financially? Are other people paying for it? Are you working out ways in which maybe a job covers it, or you do it, you're sponsored in some way? Like the logistics need to be put in place now so that you can start your next book. This one is ending. It's over. It was annoying. You didn't like it. That's good. It's coming to an end. The only thing you need to do now is just kind of write the table of contents basically for the next book. How do you want to experience this next book of your life? And what role do you want travel and exploration to play in that? And you'll be able to do that. Okay. So it's coming to an end. You're going to get to spread your wings soon enough. I would use this time to actually structure what that looks like. Make it even easier when the time comes. Make a special travel bank account or savings account or something, piggy bank, just for travel. Capricorn, sun, moon, and rising. You're welcome, Maruta. Okay. Okay. So I had something interesting happen, Capricorn, when I was pulling out these cards. One card like seemed like it wanted to come out. So I just pulled it out to the side. Anyway, um, there's very big queen energy around this. And I get it feels like it must be kind of like a collaboration or like a mix of these two queens. Wow, Capricorn. This is like a big level up for you as a person. It feels very personal. So we have the Queen of Swords is what I pulled for you. The Queen of Wands was the card that was like trying to be a part of the conversation. And so I let it. This is beautiful, I think, Capricorn. This is really beautiful. This is, first of all, it's very much embodying the divine feminine energy of the full moon time. So this time is really kind of like popping for you. You're very much feeling in your, your feminine vibe. Like no matter how you identify, just feeling like a goddess. Feeling like a goddess feels very much the case right now. Mentally, it's a level up. You feel very clear. Motivated. There are maybe some projects that are on the horizon that you really want to execute, that you really want to get started on, or that you want to deliver in an excellent way. Maybe you already started them, but you're very focused on how you are showing up, the decisions that you are making, being wise, being responsible, being somebody that people can go to. But at the same time, there's this very heavy magical and spiritual element that's coming through as well. So you're not just interested in being mentally smart. You also want to be creatively and spiritually wise as well. And it feels like you're very much stepping into that for yourself. Whether, I don't know if you're, some of you may be getting mentorship from others or taking classes or whatever it is that you're doing, it's working. It is working, Capricorn. You are maturing mentally as a being, but you are also growing spiritually as a being. You are also growing skillfully as a magical individual. You are opening up to your creative side as well and letting that kind of come through, and maybe finding time to work on those things and stuff like that. So this is a really beautiful energy for you. Lean into that. Plan some rituals around this energy. So if you have a project in mind, or there's something creative that you want to do, paint or build something, craft something, go ahead and do that. If you want to explore how to turn those creative pursuits maybe into something that you can make a living off of, do that. Any of those things you would benefit from right now, because you really are you're thriving. You're thriving, Capricorn. You're thriving. And this full moon, Virgo, is, if anything, it's really just there to help complete this transformation for you and just complete this feeling of like, yeah, I'm that witch. Congratulations, Capricorn. Ephemeral, you may get a private reading anytime. You can book me using the links in the description box. I am bookable through my shop. Okay. These are the live Zodiac readings for the full moon in Virgo. So I invite you to receive a message for your sun, moon, or rising signs. All right, Capricorn. Next we have Aquarius. Aquarius. Aquarius, we have the Hanged Man in reverse. Okay, Aquarius. Well, for you, we're definitely closing a book, I guess would be the way to say it, but I really feel like I want to say more like opening a book. I feel like you're past the closing. The closing has already occurred. That part already happened. You're making a big change in your life, and I feel like this is related to how you are showing up in the world. So you might be making some big changes to your personal appearance, like the way that you dress, the way you do your hair, makeup, things like that. You had a vision of who you wanted to be that was maybe not actually being reflected on the surface. You know, it was like, I feel like I'm one way on the inside. It's very trans, this energy. It's like I feel like I'm one way on the inside, but my outside doesn't reflect it. And now you have a more aligned vision of how you see yourself versus how you want other people to see yourself. And you're able to kind of express that. So that previous book already closed for you. If anything, this Virgo energy could just be useful for you to kind of out the details of exactly what that means, and how you're going to do that. So if you're going to have a different wardrobe, for example, how are you going to do that? Does that mean that you're going to do a shopping spree? You're going to throw away all your old clothes and start something new? Are you just going to wear different pieces? If you're going to be, you want to appear as a CEO, what are you going to do that? Are you going to start wearing blazers every day, or wearing your hair a certain way? Are you going to start working from a certain location in order to give the appearance of an office? Or, you realize that you want to be seen in a certain light, and you're ready to make whatever changes are necessary in order to actually show up in that way. And so this full moon in Virgo could just be helpful for you in terms of the logistics. Again, the logistics of exactly how do you do that. Maybe your social media pages need a revamp. Maybe your website needs a revamp. Maybe redecorating your space would help. Associating with different people, even, but you are starting a new book in your life that is really all around having a clear view of how you want to appear to people. And so some changes may be made, and this may need to be made, and this full moon in Virgo will help you to see what those are. Whoa, your birthday's coming up. Sewing your own clothes and making your own jewelry. Oh, wait, there's a question. Is March 21 Pisces or Aries or both? The 21st is probably a cusp day. And cuspers are, I think, usually encouraged to kind of read both, take both messages. But there are some people who are born on the cusp and really feel like they're more one or the other. But yeah, sewing your own clothes and making your own jewelry, that's great. Like if you're trying to have that impression where people see you as somebody who cares about what you wear, that you only make things, wear things that you've made yourself and stuff like that, then changing how you dress and where you shop, or if you shop at all, might be something you need to do. And this full moon in Virgo will help you to sit down and figure out okay, how do I do that? How do I make sure that if I'm making my own clothes, I have enough clothes to wear? Maybe I need to replace one piece at a time. That kind of stuff. All right. And finally, last but never least, Pisces, sun, moon, or rising. The full moon Virgo message for you. Ending a chapter and in a book. Pisces, we are definitely ending a chapter, and we're ending it on a cliffhanger, is what this makes me feel with the Two of Wands. Okay, we're ending on a cliffhanger. All right, so where we are physically located is definitely a place of like some discomfort. It's not ideal. We are comfortable enough, but your present environment, this could be your home or it could be your workplace, but it does feel a little more homely. And home could be your physical house, or it could be like your town or city that you live in. It's comfortable enough, but it's uncomfortable enough that it's got you thinking about greener pastures. It's got you thinking about, could I leave? What does the world hold for me? Is there other places I could live or go that I might want to explore? But we're still very much connected to the place that we are in. And it feels like that connection might not be totally voluntary. So you might find yourself in an environment that you would love to get out of and like go away from more, even if just for trips. Like this might not be permanent. You might want to just take more trips, but you want to get out of your current space and you want to do that more often. And you're tied to where you are, but it doesn't feel like that's your choice, because the staff that's here that is attached to the wall is attached with like a bracket or some type of a thing. You know, it's attached to the wall, and it's not clear whether or not you could actually take that off of there. And that's what makes me feel like there are things in your life that you maybe don't have the most control over, maybe finances, maybe work, maybe family members that are dependent on you, small children, pets, whatever. But you feel very much like tied to your physical location. Like you can't move or you can't explore, you can't get out of the house. And that's rather frustrating for you. But that has been something that you've been dealing with for a long period of time. And it feels like there's a lot of energy for us to turn the page and move into a new chapter where maybe exploration and getting out is a lot more possible. You are going to need to prioritize, and again, logistics. This is logistics for you. So you're going to want to use this full moon in Virgo energy to help you analyze the situation. Starting from the important question of maybe, why do I want to leave? Like, what's the issue here? Maybe there are things I can do in my current environment to make it more comfortable. But what's going on right here? Why do I feel like I'm stuck? What's the deal with this situation? Am I really actually stuck, or could I like take this wand out of this holder thingy? Like, is it really bracketed down, or what? Where do I want to go? What other options are actually out there? And then what tools do I have to get me there? What tools do I have at my disposal? Do I need this second wand? Maybe I could go without it. Am I so ready to go that I'm willing to leave it behind? Maybe. But it looks like some analysis here would be helpful. You might benefit even from like a pros and cons list type of a project to help you really sit and plan out, do I really want to go? If so, why do I think I can't? What needs to be put in place for me to feel more confident and more ready to embark? Freaking COVID has me stuck. I miss my yearly travel. Yeah. So, that would definitely be something that you don't have control over. Really get to say how easy it is to navigate in the world, but sitting down and analyzing how you could move forward is something that's going to benefit you. Maybe there's plant medicines or herbal allies or spiritual protectors that you could call on to make you feel more comfortable about traveling now in this post-COVID world. Maybe there are specific places in the world where folks are still masking, or rates are very low, and you can feel a little bit more confident about traveling. Maybe there are some tools at your disposal. Maybe traveling by car, so you don't have to be in public transportation with people, is a way that you can get to go out and not risk your health, So that's what you would benefit from, Pisces, using this full moon in Virgo to work out the analytics and the logistics of how to embark, okay? Because this whole period of being stuck in the house all the time, thinking about going but not going, that chapter is coming to an end. All right. Okay, folks. Those are all 12 zodiac signs. So if any of these messages resonated with you, I very much appreciate your super chats. Your super chats are going towards the light and device holding equipment that we need in the studio to make more content for you guys at the shop, to make our current in-person classes like our intro to sex magic and our crystals basics and our herbal journalism, all the classes that we're teaching at the shop available online for people who can't make it to the shop, whether that be for mobility reasons, financial reasons, just not located in the city, etc. So we very, very, very much, all the witches at the shop, appreciate your super chats and your super thanks. If you're watching this video on a replay, you can scan the QR code at the top of the screen or go to bronxwitch.com and click on the ways to support page if you would like to support the shop in other ways. So I want to thank all of you. I definitely pray that these messages resonated with each of you. I'm going to check this thing over here and let you know that we have gotten to $40.58. Thank you guys so much. We're almost there. When I come back for the new moon, obviously folks can still do super thanks on this video later and things like that. So I'll probably wait. But when we come back for the new moon, if we didn't quite get to the $69 that we need, then we'll pick up here where we left off. So you'll have an opportunity to support then as well. But if we do, then I will post all about it. I will let you guys know all about it. And we will probably work on something else next time, okay? So thank you guys. And this was a great idea. So thank you guys so much. Thank you, Linda. Thank you for being here. Coven Witches, I will see you guys a little later. We have a live taping, behind the scenes taping of a chat with Dorothy Morrison, who is the author of Utterly Wicked. We're going to be talking all about how to be a better hexing witch. So if you would like to learn more about cursing people, hexing people through magic, the ethics of it, the how-tos of it, things to consider, etc. We're going to be talking all about that today at 3 o'clock. It's going to be a little bit of a different recording than usual because Dorothy has requested no video. So you'll just be able to tune in audibly to her portion. But we'll be doing that today. I'll go live at 2:30. She should be joining us at 3. And then tonight, I think I'm going to go live with just the coven for a little high tea. It is the full moon, so I am enjoying cannabis. So we might come together, enjoy a little bit of cannabis together, and chat about some stuff. And if the live taping with Dorothy doesn't happen, then I'll have tea about that and why. So, yeah, be there. I think I already scheduled it. Or I'm planning on going from my phone because I'm working from home today. So, yeah. I'm 90% sure that we'll have a high tea tonight. You know how I can be sometimes. I don't get a lot of days out of the shop, and this is one of them. So as soon as I'm done recording Dorothy, I might go to sleep. But if I don't, then I'm going to wash my hair. I'm going to wash my hair today, and we'll probably hang out. All right, guys. So thanks so much for tuning in. Thank you for receiving these messages. Thank you for trusting me enough to let me read your energies for your zodiac signs. I definitely pray that each of these messages resonate with you. You know what to do if they did. And I will see you guys in the next one. Blessed be.